So let's get into our top 5. Evan Bevins, you threw this out there. I said, let's go for it. What is our top 5 that we will be doing tonight?
Well, I noticed this, and I honestly don't remember which card caused me to think of this, which actually, when you think about it, is pretty on brand. Once I explain it, I was going through something, and I think it showed up in the shop, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that character's in Marvel Snap. And so I thought, well, hey, what if we do, because I could think of another one or two. So I said, hey, what if we do the top 5 cards we forget?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, so cards that I forgot were in the game.
So, top 5 cards that we forget are out there. This was not the easiest. The first thing that I came up with, I was like, oh, yeah, I can run through a bunch of cards that I completely forgot about. But
cards I don't use.
Yeah, I waffled between, okay, is this something that I use or stuff that I forget? And the problem is that doing the show, and of course, we kind of immerse ourselves into Marvel Snap just about every day, if not every other day of our lives. And I'm on Reddit and I'm always looking at stuff. So it's kind of tough to forget all the cards, but there's a lot of cards that people don't use. There's a list of some that I don't use, but then I'm like, wait a second, why did I stop using this card?
Yeah.
Because I use this card a lot. I had in the past. So, or it's something an opponent plays against me and I had forgot that the thing exists or forgot that it was out there. That's going to be on my list too. So, yeah, we'll see how things shake down here and see what our justification are for our picks. Just be aware that mine are going to be qualified in different ways for a lot of these. So,
that's okay.
But
a lot of these lists are in the eye of the beholder.
Right.
Again, I'm the only one I know who just totally screwed up a list. And I was like, wow, even subjectively, my list was bad. One still stings. But yeah, there's different ones, and we can talk about our reasons. But yeah, I'm like, wow, I remember when that card came out, and nobody uses it. I don't ever think it. So,
right.
So yeah, but there are a little bit different reasons on some of these that I have. Like one, well, we'll get into it, but yeah, there's not a hard and fast rule, and there may be different reasons we forget about certain ones. So I just, like I said, for some reason, this one struck me, and I'm like, I know that card's in the game, but I was like, oh, what? Somebody used it. I like Malekith. I don't even have anything against Malekith. I've just never had a scenario where I would use Malekith. Kraglin's so weird that I haven't forgotten him yet. And clearly we're recording some of this early because I forgot Ramatut was coming, but he hasn't even been in the game yet. So I didn't count him. He would be an honorable mention.
Right.
Actually had an honorable mention. Oh, yes. I do have an honorable mention that is not on your list.
Okay. All right. Well, you want to start with that or you want to end with that? Okay.
We'll start with that because since it's a technicality, I don't think it can make the list, but in a way I think it should.
Okay. Well, let's hear it.
And that is the dynamic X-Men character, Forget-Me-Not.
Forget-Me-Not.
His mutant power is that as soon as you stop talking to him, you forget he exists.
Oh.
So what I would like for them to do is just one day everybody has Forget-Me-Not, and it's like a series 1, or like, yeah, he's been here the whole time. You guys been using him?
That would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
I know a few years ago when iTunes gave everybody the new U2 album, people were furious. I was like, oh, cool. New music from U2, but some people didn't like that. So maybe that's not the best idea, but I would just they don't have an announcement, nothing, just Forget-Me-Not, Series 1 card. You've had him maybe even bump up a few of the mastery levels.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
I would love to see that.
All right. Well, then I'll start.
Well, maybe you forgot him, but he's been there all along.
All right. I will start with my number 5, and this is a very recent card, and I'll definitely say that this is one that made it onto the list because nobody uses this card. And as recent as it is, it's still something that nobody sees it, and you kind of forget that it's there, and that's Super Adaptoid.
Oh, yeah.
Super Adaptoid, which is with its very, very select text of you steal an opponent's activate from them. I think Super Adaptoid has some power that's probably going to show up in about another year or so as more activate cards start to populate things. Super Adaptoid stock is going to go up. But right now, like, if somebody played Super Adaptoid, I'd be like, is that Lasher? Wait, who is that? And I'd have to look and figure it out and realize, oh yeah, Super Adaptoid does exist and just is never used. So there you go. That's my number 5.
The greatest trick the Super Adaptoid ever pulled was convincing the world that he didn't exist. Actually, I probably should have saved that for higher on the list.
Number 1, Mephisto.
Yeah. Super Adaptoid I see. I don't know. Green's my favorite color, so I think the card looks cool. So I always notice him and I go, maybe Super Adaptoid. And then I go,
maybe not.
So my number 5 is a card that I do know it exists, but somebody used it the other day and I was like, oh, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's not one that I was like shocked, but I was like, oh, I haven't seen her in a while. And that is Frankie Ray Nova.
Frankie Ray Nova.
Yeah, I should pull the text up. But I think when you play a 6-cost card, her power doubles. So, and we all like cards that we can boost up and compound the effects and everything, but I don't know, that one never really caught on.
Yeah.
I see her, but it's not usually one that like I said, Malekith stands out to me because I don't think Malekith's a bad card, but I'm just like, I don't know what to do with this. But Frankie, I remember, I don't even know that I was that excited when she came out, but I was like, oh, I could. Well, I think at first I thought it happened every time you played a 6-cost card, but it's just the one. So she's usable, but I don't know. It's just it feels like a little bit more work than I'm willing to do for the payoff. Yeah, after the next time you play a 6-cost card, double this card's power. So maybe if there was a way to do it again, sure, you get Forge out there. Oh, I think, did somebody use her with either Maverick or Shaolao the Undying? Because either way, now I've got an idea for her. Maybe she gets bumped off the list eventually, because those would work a little better, because otherwise you'd have to boost her a couple of times. So
right,
maybe I'll try that. But yeah, I just remember someone using, and I don't think it was a high voltage thing where they just happened to have her. They used her properly. They boosted her up, and I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't thought about her in a while. So my number 5 is Frankie Ray, aka Nova.
Okay, yeah. I think I just recently had seen her in a high voltage situation, but yeah, not a card I definitely use at all, or have ever used, I think, at all. I do have her, but I don't use her. So, all right, then I guess we go to your number 4.
My number 4, also a fiery figure, and I see this card every once in a while in the shop. I've seen it in games, and I've been like, wait, why didn't his power double when we moved him or something? And that's because that's the wrong Human Torch. I know Johnny Storm First Steps, but Jim Hammond Human Torch, I forget he's there. And I've always thought Jim Hammond was kind of neat, because it's like, wait, there was a Human Torch before, and then he came back, and I don't know, he just always struck me as kind of an interesting, well, maybe not that interesting, because it's not like I seek him out, but I was like, oh, cool, yeah, the Android Human Torch. But I have trouble remembering he's in the game. What's his power? At the start of each turn, +1 power for each bonus energy you have. So he could work with Star-Lord. There's different work with Superior Spider-Man, just like in Superior Spider-Man Team Up number 75, classic issue that didn't exist. But yeah, I forget he's there, and on the rare occasion I do see him, I'm like, oh, that's a Torch variant I'm not familiar with.
Right.
But no, he's a whole grown card all by himself.
All by himself. Well, that's a good one. That's definitely a good one. Moving to my number 4.
Might want to put a pin on that one.
Okay. All right, then I guess we're going to my number. So I'm going to 3. Do I go to my 3 now? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, then my number 3 is one that barely ever gets played. And when I'm scrolling through and thinking about putting stuff together for a deck, I'm like, why is this person in this game? Uncle Ben. Number 3, Uncle Ben. I don't know. I actually tried to put something a long time ago together with him in it, and that deck immediately got deleted like shortly thereafter. Just a space taker. We'll put it that way. It's a card that I don't think has too many tremendous benefits at all, and is something that is going to remain at the bottom of the list. Unfortunately, Uncle Ben will never make it into a favorite deck unless something drastic changes as far as like the meta goes. And that card, there's no reason to ever buff him because he's Uncle Ben. If you go and buff Uncle Ben, you're just like, okay, you're not exactly taking into account that this is a frail old man.
Clearly, you've never read the Trouble Limited series.
I guess not.
Neither have I.
But anyway, so that's what I went with. Again, I'm scrolling through and I'm like, yeah, I forgot that they created an Uncle Ben card. Made my number 3.
I can't really argue with your logic about Uncle Ben being used a lot, although I was trying to see if I still had a deck. I have put him in like destroy decks with Killmonger, and his ability is so devastatingly accurate.
Right.
Spider-Man Rises. So even though I can't use him very often, I can't forget him. It's kind of like, as the great philosopher Albert Yankovic once wrote, I'll never forget about Larry, no matter how I try.
Perfect.
So yes, he's not going to be in a lot of decks, but I personally do not find him forgettable, and neither does Peter Parker.
That's true.
Dare you?
How dare me? How dare me? All right, what's your number 3?
Okay. If I am not mistaken, this is the one that set this off, and I think it was because somebody played it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a card that exists. I've drawn her a couple times in High Voltage. I've played her because I could use the points, but her ability hasn't done anything for me.
Oh, put a pin in that.
Okay.
Wow. All right. So we do have some definite overlap here. Okay. All right, then. All right. So that was, who's next? Is it
That was number 3. So I guess I'm number 2.
You go number 2. All right.
Number 2. A card to be discussed, a card to be named later prompted this list.
Okay.
And the other ones I've talked about, Jim Hammond and Frankie Ray, I saw and I was like, yeah, I had moments where I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. But this was the one where I was going through the list. I'm like, oh wait, I was just flipping through and I'm like, oh yeah, that card is in the game. And so I had it when I saw it. I put in the unowned cards. When I put it in the list, when people play it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Like, I even have to stop and think, where did this character even come from? How did they pull, of all the Marvel characters, why did we get Sparky?
Sparky the dog. Sparky Vision's dog.
As far as I know, it was only in the Tom King Vision series. I just remember, okay, that must be where Sparky's from. I can't swear to you that that's where Sparky's from. That's where I think he's from. And like, as a card, it's not bad. It's good for move decks. The last card you moved, I think, gets +2 and then moves again. And a lot of times when cards move, they get additional bonuses. Very, very useful. Just like in Vision number 13, when Johnny Storm came over to Pet Sit, I could see them working well together. But yeah, like, people will play Sparky and be like, oh yeah, Sparky, that's a thing. I don't have him. I clearly am not working to get him because I forget he exists all the time. I can't even find him on the list. At this point, what were we talking about again? Yeah, like, I don't even know his stats.
Oh, he's Sparky. Like I said, I got him. I think he's a 1/2.
Oh, okay. He used to be a 3.
Hold on. I have to pull it up here. Take a look.
Oh, no, he's a 2/2.
2/2. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I couldn't even pinpoint him on the list. Yeah. Give your card the last move +2 power and move it back to its previous location. That's a good ability. It's useful, but I don't see it very often. And when I do, I'm like, oh yeah, robot dog.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, number 2 on my list, just like he's a 2 cost, 2 power, but not too memorable, is Sparky.
Good pick. Good pick. All right, moving to my number 2. It's a card that I want to say that things have moved on in the game. And a 0/2 card, I believe, that is a situation where it harms your cards that are kind of already set down, is something that you're not going to see played too often now. And I do not see Yellow Jacket played very much at all. Now, I hate to say that I forget that he's out there, but when you're not seeing him played compared to all this other stuff that's out there, it's a card it's hard to find a spot for, and I haven't used in forever.
Maybe he's somebody that you hope Kraglin removes from your deck.
Right. I think it's really cool that our number ones are actually like on each other's lists. I think you had, so I would be doing number one here, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then you had the Ancient One at Number three.
Although she's the one that prompted the list.
Okay.
She's the one that gave me the idea.
Yeah. And remember when we were talking about skill cards a while back? I think the Tau Mandala or whatever it was like the first, I want to say that came before or at least in the season that Agamotto was in. It was probably the season Agamotto was in, right?
I think so. I don't think it was the first one, but it was one of the early ones.
Right. It was really early. And I remember getting that card and going, man, this is actually, this skill card's pretty useful. And I was looking at her today when I was coming up the list, and I was like, wow, I need to find a deck to put her in because I forgot that she existed. And I think that the ability of the skill card is pretty darn useful. So yes, the Ancient One is my number one because it was just recently that I was like, wow, I need to use this card again because I feel like the ability of the skill card can be very, very useful. And it's a possibility. Go ahead.
In a deck where you have ongoings, because I think I got her in high voltage or somewhere, and I'm like, oh, let me try to use this. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with this.
No ongoings.
There weren't a lot of ongoings, so I forget. Like, I think it copied an ongoing, but it was like a useless ongoing. I forget what it was, but it was something like you only need one of. Maybe it was like armor or something like that. Yeah, you only need, like, I could see where it would be useful, but I don't have it. And I was playing the other day and I'm like, oh yeah, Tilda Swinton's in this game.
Anyway, the Ancient One deserved of the number one spot, in my opinion, of cards that I forgot that are out there. So with that being said,
well, you know what my number one is, and the reason that I put it here is not because I forget it exists in the game, but because you, me, and a number of people forget that it is on the board when it has been played, and that is Echo.
Yes.
Echo blindness is real, my friend.
Yes, it is.
Like, sometimes when I'm thinking about putting Echo in my deck, I'm like, all that's going to do is make them not play an ongoing there, and they could still play it somewhere else. So, but no, I look right there, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's Echo. Where should I put my ongoing? Like, sometimes it's not even a deck that has a bunch of ongoings. So, and I just slap it right down there, and boom, that handprint comes up there and slaps the ongoing right off the card. I thought about including on it Cosmo because I have a number of times plopped an on reveal down next to Cosmo, but he's got so many adorable variants that you just can't forget Cosmo. You forget he's there, but it doesn't happen as often, and
right.
I don't know. Like, it's Echo for some reason is so much more egregious, and there are documented cases. Let me see. What if I go on Reddit and search Echo blindness? Because I did not come up with that phrase.
Yeah, you are not
Echo blindness.
I don't think you're going to have a problem. That's for sure. Because I've seen it so much.
Okay, I'm getting multiple things about. Okay, well, yeah, here's one. Echo blindness is real from 9 months ago. Okay.
9 months ago.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's the seventh result. I don't know the context of this. I'm not at all making fun of blind people, but there's a r/blind, and it says, is echolocation BS?
Oh, no.
But I'm thinking that's in the context of, like, for a second, I thought it was somebody like, I don't believe bats are a thing. And that's not what's happening here. But okay, so down to 7, echo blindness is real. People were not lying about echo blindness. 9, 10, promoting echo blindness.
Yep.
Echo blindness is definitely real. Echo blindness is no joke. Echo blindness, location blindness. Is echo blindness still a thing? That was 1 year ago. So that's older than all the ones saying echo blindness is real. Can we talk about stardust blindness? Yes, I have experienced that.
Yeah.
Echo blindness is still going strong. Echo blindness. Yeah, so it's there. I didn't search for Snap. I just searched for echo blindness, and it's not the top result, but there's a lot of them. And okay, so we know Echo's a card. We know what Echo does. We know Echo's been played. We know echo blindness is a thing, and we still do it.
That's the truth. It is the truth.
So that's why it was my number one, was because there are documented cases of people forgetting Echo is in the game when she's literally in that specific game and on the board.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I can't do anything but Echo exact. Oh, look out.
You didn't do that on purpose?
I didn't do that on purpose.
It's like Daredevil, I did not see that coming.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's our top 5 cards. So with that, go ahead and get into some plugs there, Evan Bevins. What do you got going on over at Asterisk 51 and all the other fun podcasts you've been doing?
Not a lot at the moment. I was taking a break and trying to build up some stuff, and gotten a little bit. So I don't know, maybe next month or maybe for Free Comic Book Day, I'll start rolling some stuff out there. In the meantime, if you like my ideas but hate the sound of my voice, you can go to asterisk51.blogspot.com and read all about comics, movies about comics, comics about movies. Just weird stuff that I find. When Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out, people will be saying, here are the best Spider-Man comics to read, or here are the comics that inspired this movie. When Spider-Man No Way Home came out, I didn't do any of that. I told you about the time Spider-Man taught the Beyonder to use the baffling.
That's right. That's right.
Which is a comic book moment that is forever seared into my memory. Much like the time Black Widow found an Infinity Stone in a toilet. Which was not left there by the Beyonder.
Oh, boy.
That was actually a joke that Billy D made as we were recording the other night for a show over on his Magazines and Monsters channel, where me, him, and Ed Moore discuss Marvel Fanfare, a comic I'd heard about but hadn't read. We should be, I think, just today, so fairly recently, the 3rd episode dropped where we cover issues 3 and 4, which is an X-Men Savage Land tale with Sauron. Some villains have a plan. He just likes to wing it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he does.
Yeah, that joke was terrible with a P. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought the audio went out again. You weren't laughing hysterically, so I got worried there for a second. But
I was silently pointing accusingly.
Yeah. Yeah. They can't hear you silently judging me. Billy's kind enough to have me on there every once in a while. We also have an episode coming up about a story involving the Incredible Hulk and the Man-Thing, where stuff goes from crazy sci-fi to real dark real fast.
Oh, really?
So you, me, and Chris Armstrong, there's a show, have you heard of it, called Unspoken Issues? You might be familiar with that.
Yeah.
One of these days we might even talk about Booster Gold, but no promises.
That's right.
If anybody from the future, ask them if we ever finally recorded that.
Right. All right. Anything else?
Oh, yeah, heck, just today, Mark Radulich, you know that guy?
I do.
He and I talked about Road to Perdition and discovered that it is not, in fact, a prequel to the Bob Hope, Bing Crosby Road to series. So that was an exciting update for me. No, I set that joke up like way too long, and like Mark just kind of stared at me.
No, blinking.
He's like, you spent all that time talking, and that's what... He's like, we had a good discussion today. You brought up some points I hadn't... This is why I enjoy this. And really?
Blink, 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 blink. That's funny. That's funny.
So, yeah, I don't know what your and Mark's problem is with all these laugh bombs I'm dropping.
Unbelievable. Well, that sounds like a lot of good stuff there. For myself, hey, ladies and gentlemen, go check out the Source Material Comics podcast feed. That's where most likely you were hearing this on. The most recent episode that dropped was an Unspoken Issues poll winner. Mr. Miracle won the 96 number ones poll. And you can listen to me, Evan, and Chris talk about that. You can also go back and listen to me and Mark Radulich discuss a Cobra Commander last week. We talked about the Energon Universe Cobra Commander series that came out. We are starting a villain series right now of 3 books, and the Cobra Commander series was really good. So enjoyed that. Upcoming. Well, we'll just put it this way. On the 30th of March, you can hear a syndicated Source Material Don't do these as often as I used to, but I'm going to try and get back in the groove of doing this. The 26th episode of Source Material was our discussion on Daredevil, Man Without Fear. Almost said Born Again. I couldn't remember. Daredevil, Man Without Fear. So it's me. I think it's Benjamin J. Cologne might be involved in it. And Ronnie Adams, for sure, I'm pretty sure was part of it too. So if you get a chance, go back and check that out. With that being said, we are getting out of here. Over there is Evan Bevins. I'm Jesse Starcher. Thanks for joining us. Keep on a snapping. Bye-bye.